I'm Jolene Wynn, and this is the Porn Addict's Wife podcast, episode 210, Resignation versus Acceptance. If your husband is struggling with a pornography problem and you want some help with it and you are not finding the resources that you like, you are in the right place. My name is Jolene Wynn. I am a certified life coach. I am an active member of the LDS faith, and I am the wife of a former porn addict. And on this podcast, I am going to share with you the tools that you need in order to start your healing journey. This is where I'm going to show you how to dive deep into intentional living, how to rekindle connection with your spouse, how to manage all that emotional turmoil that you're feeling, how to break the addiction cycle that you have to your husband's addiction, and tell you all of the ways to do that and start healing. I am so glad that you're here, and I can't wait to get started. Let's go. Hello, my ladies. How are you today? I hope you guys are doing well. Once again, this feels so weird to me because I'm recording this early, because by the time you guys hear this, I'm going to be on my trip. I will be in Utah and Idaho on a family reunion. And so for those of you who are out west, make sure you guys are watching for my emails so that we can have a little meetup. I would love to do a little meet and greet in Idaho and in Utah so I can meet some of you guys. So, just be on the lookout for my tour schedule and make sure you guys are in my email list so that you guys can know about the fun things coming up, which, let's do the calendar, ladies. If you guys don't know, the calendar is what we would always do growing up. Every Sunday night, we would have family night and we would get together and it would be I'm the youngest of 7. My parents would be in the family room. After dinner, we'd gather together and my mom would start and say, let's do the calendar. And it would take forever because 7 different schedules. I was the youngest. My oldest brother's 10 years older. So I remember, there were 3 or 4 kids in high school with 9 different schedules from sports and band and who needs to pick up who at what time. And anyway, so whenever I have things to announce, I call it the calendar. So let's do the calendar. You can skip this part if you're not interested. I have a few things. Number 1, for those of you who want to come to my in-person retreat, mark your calendars, okay? This year's retreat is going to be in Oak Island, North Carolina, October 17th to the 20th. It's going to go live at the end of June, and it'll go live first for my clients. It'll open up first for my clients, and then it will open up for all of you. Yes, if you are not a client, I would love to see you there. We have done an in-person retreat every single year, and it always sells out. And I am so excited about this year's retreat. If you want to come, if you feel like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing, make sure you're on my email list so that you will be the very first to know when this opens up, when you can secure a spot. They are very limited. It's going to be 15 to 20 women. I'm not exactly sure yet because the house we're staying in is still being built. It is that brand new, and I'm so excited about it. It's the biggest one that we've gotten yet, so I'm just not exactly sure how many beds there will be. So there'll be a limited number of spots. So if you know you want to come, then make sure you're on the email list so that you know all of the details, okay? Second thing, for all my coaches and entrepreneurs, in June, from June 24th to the 27th, I am running a free How to Solve Your Business Problems workshop. I'm going to be going over the formula that I have created to solve any business problem. This is what has enabled me to take my business to the place that it is now. I started coaching just 4 years ago, started from ground zero, and was able to grow it to over $100,000 a year with no paid advertising. And my husband, ladies, just stopped working. I just retired my husband from his job as a dentist, from his career in dentistry. And now I am the sole breadwinner and I work less than 20 hours a week. So I want to share with you the formula and then also help you work through it. I'm doing it workshop style, which means every single day you come live and I will be helping you. I'll be teaching you not only a step in the formula and a step in the process of how to solve your problem, but also be helping you apply it in your business. Whatever problem you're facing, whether that's, I don't know how to get started, I can't figure out my landing pages, I don't even know what a funnel is, I don't even know how to talk to my audience, I don't even know who my audience is. Whatever your problem is that you're trying to solve, bring it to this workshop and I will help you solve it. Okay, you can go to my website, jolenewynn.com. There is a tab on there right now. It says Business Workshop, and you can sign up for it for free. So go ahead and register for that today. All right, ladies, let's talk about resignation. This is something that I see so many of you struggle with. And I want to dive into it today because here's the thing about resignation. We always start off, as you know, with a definition. You guys ready? Resignation is, first of all, in a noun, an act of retiring or giving up a position, but that's not the one we're really going for, right? The second definition is the acceptance of something undesirable but inevitable. And that is what I want to talk about today. This definition right here. When we feel resigned to something, right? That's the emotion that we feel, or we are in a state of resignation as a noun. It's when we are accepting something we don't want, right? Remember, it's undesirable, but inevitable. That's what resignation is. And this is very different than acceptance, mostly because of the piece right here where it says that it's inevitable. That's what I want to offer that we question. So here's where I see this most often is when you are feeling like there's nothing you can do and you might as well just accept that there's nothing you can do. That is very different than saying, I am accepting what I can control and what I cannot. Resignation is saying there is something inevitable, something that cannot be changed. And so I just have to accept it even though I don't like it. The difference is that in resignation, you don't have a choice. Does that make sense? Do you guys hear what the difference is? Most of the time, the things that we feel resigned to, the things that we feel resignation about, are not actually things that are inevitable, but they feel inevitable. And there's a very big difference. This is when it becomes so crucial to understand that our feelings are real, but they're not true. Often when something feels inevitable, it feels like we have no control over it, like it's just coming, it's just going that way, there's nothing we can do about it. It feels that way, but that doesn't mean that that's true. It doesn't mean that we can't do anything about it. Now, here's what our brain often wants to do. Our brain wants to feel resignation about ourselves emotionally. It wants to feel resignation not only about the circumstance, but also how we are affected by the circumstance. Does this make sense? You guys with me? If you go back to last week, I talked about correlation versus causation, right? We talked about things that are related to but not caused by something, right? Your emotions are related to your husband's pornography problem, but they are not caused by your husband's pornography problem. So when you have a situation that then creates an effect, right? You are affected by your husband's pornography problem. When you resign yourself to your husband having this pornography problem, the mistake is when you also resign yourself to your emotions about it. Now, what I mean by that is not that I have to resign myself to feeling this way forever, because that's not true. The way that you are affected by your husband's pornography problem is not inevitable. Okay? You can change it. That's what I talked about last week about correlation versus causation. Yes, you are affected by it, but the way that you are affected by it just because you are affected by it doesn't mean you have to stay affected that way forever. Okay? Does that make sense? We don't have to resign ourselves to being affected in a certain way for the rest of our lives simply because the thing that we are affected by keeps going. The way that you are affected by your husband's pornography problem right now, or when you started, does not have to continue your entire marriage just because your husband keeps continuing to watch pornography. Might you still be affected by it? Yes, but you can change how much or in what way. For example, if right now you are making your husband's pornography problem mean something about you, if you're making it mean that you're not enough as a wife, that we can change. We can absolutely change everything that you make it mean. Now, does it mean that you need to change that you're okay with it? No, we don't need to do that. And I'm not saying that you should, but there is a difference between saying this is inevitable, not only circumstantially, but also everything that comes as a result of it. And I want to offer that this is where we can move into acceptance. And acceptance is a much more powerful place to be because we are taking responsibility for what we can control, which is very empowering. And then we are letting go of what is not ours to control, which is very freeing. It's a beautiful place to be. I think a lot of times we think that acceptance is a terrible place to be. Acceptance means that we're just okay with it. Acceptance means whatever it is that we make it mean. It's not true. Acceptance brings way more freedom and control over our lives than anything else. And the difference between acceptance and resignation is that we recognize that how we are affected is not inevitable. The way that I'm affected by my husband's pornography problem is not inevitable. I don't have to resign myself to feeling this way for the rest of my life because it's not inevitable. It's something that I have control over. It's something that I can change. So notice where you feel resignation. It typically comes with hopelessness. And acceptance comes with hope because we are creating clear lines in our head between what is and is not ours to control and what is and is not ours to let go. Does this make sense? Are you guys following me? This made a lot more sense in my head. I hope it's coming out in a clear way. Acceptance versus resignation. Resignation is saying, I don't have any control over this. There's nothing I can do. Acceptance is saying, here's what I can control. Here's what I can do. And I'm going to let go of what I cannot. It's very different. So resigning yourself to your husband's pornography problem and the way that you're affected by it is a very stuck place to be, which is why we feel hopeless. And I want to offer that if you're feeling that way, then you take a look and offer yourself, just start questioning and say, what if this is not true? What if it's not true that I have to stay this way the rest of my life? What if it's not true that I have to feel this way the rest of my life? What if it's not true that I have to think this way, feel this way, be affected in this way? Does it mean that I have to be okay with it? No. But what if there's a different way, a different possibility for me? What if I don't just have to resign myself in hopelessness to something that can never change? Because the truth is we can change so much more than we think. So take notice of where you're feeling resignation, and I offer that you just start questioning it. And let's not live there, and let's move to acceptance instead, so we can let go of the things that you don't have control over and start changing the things that you can. All right, ladies, I love you so much. I'll see you guys next week in a brand new episode. So take care. All right, ladies, if you enjoyed this podcast, then I want to invite you to come join my coaching program. This is where we take everything on the podcast and we actually get to apply it in order to transform your life. And I know that that is a big promise, but it's 100% true. On the podcast, it's like learning how to ride a bike. It's like reading a book, an instruction manual via audio on how to ride a bike. And my coaching program is where you actually ride the bike. And that is what creates the transformation. This is what actually enables you to go from point A to point B, to actually create the transformation that you are seeking. If you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling like you are loving everything, but you just can't see the end from where you are now, then I want to help you. Come work with me one-on-one. I have a lifetime access program, which means it doesn't expire. You come work with me. I will help you every step of the way and work with you personally to make sure that you get where you want to go. I can't wait to see you there. Head to my website today, jolenewin.com, and sign up.